what we really tried to accomplish for the everyday entrepreneur is coming to the table however they are comfortable doing so. We are a very high experimentation culture. And I love this about GoDaddy because it allows us the freedom, the security, and the space to test things before we fully launch. Because to your point, scalability is something that we are constantly being mindful of.
Welcome to Business Ninjas, brought to you by WriteForMe, where you'll hear from business leaders who are out there growing their business and slaying it every day. Learn from the masters. Let's get started.
Hey everybody, welcome back for another episode of Business Ninjas. I'm here today with Cammy Wood. She's the Global Director of New Experiences at GoDaddy. Cammy, welcome to the show. Thank you so much, Kelsey. I'm so happy to be here. Yeah, excited to have you. So Cammy, why don't you start and tell us a little bit about yourself? Yeah, hi. I am the fearless leader, I'm going to say. I love it. A fabulous group of learning strategists. My team supports the new hires that any customer of GoDaddy calls in and needs support, we'll work with. So that's from a global perspective. We support both the internal, what we call badged employees, the employees that are actually a GoDaddy employee, as well as vendor employees. So the employees that are offsite and are managed by a third party, we also support their new hire onboarding and ensure that they are set up for success. Interesting. So, for our listeners who may live under a rock, tell me a little bit about what GoDaddy does. Yeah, absolutely. So I love that question because GoDaddy does a lot. Yeah. So who is GoDaddy? What do we do? We champion entrepreneurs by delivering the perfect help and tools for their journey. So what does that mean exactly? Essentially, what GoDaddy does is ensures that anybody who is looking to set up an online presence for a hobby, a business, a nonprofit, any kind of reason that you might need a website or social media support, or be able to provide payments for your customers to purchase goods or services for you. We do all of it. Everything from hosting the domain, which is your www address, to building your website, supporting your website, delivering email. I mean, you name it, we do it. We're the one-stop shop for all things online. Interesting. And, GoDaddy, correct me if I'm wrong, really prides itself in making building a website not as daunting as it could be for beginners. So talk me through a little bit about how that process works and how they make it accessible to everybody. Yeah, great question. So it's interesting because it depends on the customer. Just like all industries, some people come to the table and they're professionals. They know what they want. They know how to build it. They're totally comfortable doing it themselves. So we have do-it-yourself options. There's a multitude of ways that you can build your own website. You can hire someone to do it for you, in which case we will work with that particular person that you've hired to run your online presence. We'll work with you directly if that's what you're looking to do. Or if you want to do it all behind the scenes, then you can do that too. So we have options that allow you to build it yourself. We have options that allow you to let us build it for you. And then we have some combos where maybe you built it yourself, but you need some help with maintenance of it. Or you have an idea to expand an offering or service within your website. We can do that for you too. So what we've really tried to accomplish for the everyday entrepreneur is coming to the table however they are comfortable doing so. That's really interesting. And, that was going to be one question that I had about scalability. And I'm glad you mentioned maintenance because, as businesses evolve, grow, and scale, I imagine, their websites and, what they're doing online also changes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, things get out of date quickly if you are moving and grooving. And it really just depends on the site, just like it depends on what it's there to support or promote. You may have one that is really static in the sense that maybe it's a blog site and it's updated just from a blog perspective, monthly. They don't need a whole lot of maintenance. Whereas you may have a site that, like, for example, a photographer, they're going to constantly have updates because they want to constantly showcase the active and recent work they're doing. So it's really important that our guides and what we do in New Hire is set them up to support the various different entrepreneurs that will call in for the various needs that they have.
Interesting. And I'm curious, talking about that scalability, talk me through if someone wants to transfer their domain or website to GoDaddy. Is that something that you're able to help with?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not always successful. I will be honest with you. We always give it a go, though, because obviously we want your business. Also, oftentimes we're able to troubleshoot what's going wrong where. And so the best analogy I can give you is it's very similar to the wireless industry. You are, let's say, with T-Mobile, and you've decided, or maybe you've moved cities, and the service that you have with T-Mobile isn't the best anymore. And so you're shopping and you're looking at AT&T or Verizon. And so you decide, okay, it's time for me to go. I'm going to go to Verizon. And so what Verizon will do is they'll ensure that your number doesn't change, that all of the products that you are used to and comfortable with remain the same, and that your new account is set up for success in the way in which you are looking for it to. So the exact same thing happens with GoDaddy when it comes to transferring a hosting domain or moving your website over to us.
Pardon me. I think that's, a really important note and a really great analogy that people can really understand. And do you think, it's the accessibility and flexibility that GoDaddy has that really separates it and makes it a world leader kind of in the web hosting space?
Yeah, those are two components for sure. One of the main things that sets us apart is we offer 24/7 global support. You can get to a GoDaddy guide to support you and meet you where you're at, whether it's 2:00 in the morning because you're burning the midnight oil, or you're the guide is based in the U.S. and you're in Australia. That does not matter. We're going to make sure that we take care of you because we recognize that business doesn't work on a 9-to-5 schedule.
Yeah, especially entrepreneurs, sometimes having double jobs, being able to, work at any hour, I can imagine is so helpful. And again, accessible for your users. So, I want to circle back, Cammy, to kind of going to your role and the team that you lead in new experiences and talking about, why it's so important that you're able to provide the services that you do within your team to your clients.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, it's really interesting because we don't always consider what the impact of onboarding can mean for a new employee. And it's really important, especially in the post-COVID period that we're in, that we do a few things when we're considering that new hire onboarding and the way that we can create a really strong experience, not only for the learner and the new employee coming on, but also for the trainer who is charged with supporting that learner, right? And so a lot of what my team does is ensures that not only are we making it easy for our trainers to deliver the content that's necessary to get our guides up to speed, but they're also creating a really fun, engaging, experiential environment. We want our guides who are also at home and learning how to do a call center job remotely to be able to experience not only that camaraderie and engagement that's so crucial for human interaction, but also to be able to apply what they're learning in classroom in a live on-the-job training environment. And so it's I'm not going to say it's an easy task. It is not. My team is faced with challenges across the board on a regular basis, as you can imagine. We support, I think it's 19 lines of business at this point.
And so we really do have to have really strong partnerships and know who our stakeholders are and what their needs are in order to support the learner and the trainer in that endeavor. I might be biased, but I think we do a pretty good job.
No, that's really interesting. And I appreciate you, breaking down specifically what you do. And then when you talked about utilizing some different tools and, strategies to be able to engage, what are some of those that the team is able to implement?
Yeah. So one of the things that we were challenged with mainly when we went home during COVID was that on-the-job training piece. In office, you're able to look to the person to the left or right of you, tug on their sleeve and say, I'm stuck. Can you help me? Right? Or, just visual. Hey, I need help. You can't do that in a remote environment. And so we are a very high experimentation culture. And I love this about GoDaddy because it allows us the freedom, the security, and the space to test things before we fully launch. Because to your point, scalability is something that we are constantly being mindful of. If it will only work for one line of business, then that's not scalable and it's not going to do what we need it to do. So what we've done is we've broken down that shadowing piece, the piece that they need to be able to apply what they've learned in the classroom, in 3 components. So the first is we show them. We give them an opportunity to just visually see what the environment is, what it sounds like, and the tools that they'll have available to them to support our customers. That second piece is, especially for our voice guides, it's really important that they have confidence going into their first interactions. And so we have started with delivering messaging training just for a few days post-classroom before they go to actual live calls. There's 2 things that were solved for in doing it this way. One, when they have a messaging interaction, they don't have to know all the answers and provide good customer service and think about the sales pitch and be empathetic all at the same time live in a call. Because in messaging, you can think about things before you answer. You can say, okay, I learned this. Let me go make sure I've got this. And you can type your response and you have a certain amount of time to respond. And so there's less pressure. It's less scary. And it gives them an opportunity to navigate through our systems and our environment in a way that is just more comfortable. That's just the plain and simple fact of it, right? The beautiful thing about this is we've already seen this major confidence lift. We're talking like a 300% confidence lift.
Oh, absolutely.
And once they go into the voice interactions, they're like raring to go. They're excited. They're not scared. They're actually almost to the point where they're like, okay, I'm done with this messaging thing. Can you just put us on the phones? And I'm going to tell you, that is historical. We are so thrilled about that piece of it because it's something we've been trying to solve for since the pandemic.
Yeah. And, I really liked what you said previously about not having the ability to just like whisper to someone and be like, hey, I'm stuck. Like, can you help me? And, being able to utilize your team as a resource for that training. Like you said, it's historical. It's been really fun. We've really been excited to see the results. Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, Cammy, as we start to wrap up this call, is there anything you want to leave our listeners with, either about GoDaddy, about hosting, about specifically with new experiences?
Oh, absolutely. So one thing that is so cool about the tech industry is innovation. And one of the reasons that GoDaddy has been so successful and has become the one-stop shop for all things internet is because we innovate. And one of the things that we're really paying close attention to is the shift in the marketplace and the desire to really go big in the e-commerce world. That is the new horizon. GoDaddy was really smart in capitalizing on the .com movement. And so now what we're doing is we're leveraging what our bread and butter is, which is always going to be domains. Of course, that's
That's the girl we brought to the dance. It's the one we will always leave with. And at the same time, we recognize that there's an opportunity to, maybe dance with a few other partners. And so that's what we're doing. We're really building up our payments product line, and we're combining that with new builds. So if you want a website and you want social support and you want payments, guess what? We can wrap that up in one single solution for you now. So if that's something you're looking to do, please check us out, because we're happy and willing and excited to bring your activity and product to life.
Oh, Cammy, that was a great little bit to leave our listeners with. So GoDaddy.com is the place to go. Check it out. They'll have the support you need. Like you said, a one-stop shop. I think this has been a great conversation. I appreciate you being on Business Ninjas today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It was so much fun.